Hey friends, what's up? Ash here. Welcome back to Extra Gents Scents. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going on to Fragrantica. We're going to see what the Fragrantica users have voted as the best 5 Versace fragrances for men ever. Actually, Versace doesn't have all that many fragrances for men, so this is a pretty easy one to do. That's why we're starting with Versace, and maybe later on we'll tackle some of the other fragrance houses out there. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Let's check out the top 5 best men's fragrances ever that Versace's ever done, according to Fragrantica. I'll have each one of these linked in the description below. Also, let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with all those Fragrantica users that have voted and made this list a thing. And a couple codes for you, of course. Gents10, use that code at twistedlily.com or at luckyscent.com. Save yourself 10% off the entire website. And one rule, it is a big rule, and it greatly affects the list a lot. No discontinued fragrances. I know. That means it's technically not the greatest ever because some of the fragrances that would be in the top 5 are discontinued, but I will give them a mention and let you know which ones would have been in here had we included discontinued scents. The reason I'm not including them, of course, is because they're really crazy hard to find. Some of the Versace discontinued ones go for crazy amounts of money. So those fragrances aren't things I could put in here and expect really any of you to have smelled them. Maybe like 1 or 2 of you out there would be aware of the fragrances. So yeah, keep that in mind. Let's get started. Number 5, Versace Man Oh Fresh. Might be a little bit surprising to see this as one of the top 5 best fragrances from the house because sometimes it gets slagged off on. People kind of write it off, don't really bring it up, don't really talk about it, but it's a very solid fragrance for summer and also spring. Has a bit of a similarity to Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue for women, but I think it smells very nice, very pleasant, sweet and fresh with a little tropical touch to it. Versace Man Oh Fresh, a very nice fragrance that, like I said, does get overlooked. As of this video on Fragrantica, has a 4.17 rating out of 5. And probably the most interesting note from the fragrance, the one that people like to bring up, is star fruit, because you don't see it used very often. So number 5, Versace Man Oh Fresh. Now the next fragrance would have been Versace Man. But Versace Man, unfortunately, is discontinued. It's difficult to find now. For a while, actually a long while after its discontinuation, you could still find it at discounters for a good price. So even though it was technically discontinued for years, you could still pick it up from like FragranceNet and places like that for, I think, in the $30 to $35 range. For a long time, it was one of the best inexpensive fragrance pickups you could make. I think it smelled fantastic. It's actually over my shoulder. I've got a bottle over there. Really nice scent, but unfortunately discontinued. Up next, we have Versace Ud Noir. This one has a 4.25 out of 5. And this is one of my absolute favorites from the house. Gets compared to Tom Ford's Oud Wood all the time, has a similarity to it in the opening. It approaches an oud fragrance in a very similar way as Tom Ford's Oud Wood did. So you have this sweet, spicy kick from saffron and cardamom and black pepper. Really kind of awakens the senses when you first smell it. It's got this great melding of spicy notes that just jump off your skin. And then the oud note in here is very pleasant, a little dark, and sweet, sexy, mysterious, easy to wear. No animalic tinge to it for me at all. One of the best designer oud fragrances on the market for me, actually, especially when you consider the price. It's not too bad. It used to be better, but it's still not terrible. Wonderful, wonderful fall and wintertime fragrance. Very classy and sophisticated as well. Versace Ud Noir, absolutely worth checking out if you like designer oud fragrances, because like I said, one of the best. And that one is followed by Versace Eros Parfum. Now, I really like Versace Eros Parfum. I like what they did here. I like the changes, the tweaks that they made to the scent profile while keeping it smelling very similar to the original Eros. The amber and tonka in here, the additional warmth and the different take on sweetness ever so slightly as compared to the original Eros make this one an improvement for me. Also has really good longevity. It's ever so slightly more grown up as compared to the original Eau de Toilette, less of a clubbing scent and more just a very sexy, cool weather fragrance. And that one had a rating of 4.26, so a pretty good jump from Versace Man Oh Fresh to that one. Now, if we were including discontinued fragrances, the next one would be Versace Uomo. This is another one kind of like Versace Man, where for a long time after its official discontinuation, you could still find it at discounters, and it didn't cost all that much. It cost more than Versace Man, but it still wasn't crazy expensive. And then eventually the stock ran out at discounters and the price started to creep up and it got more difficult to find. So it is more expensive now. You have to pick it up on eBay and places like that. It's not the most expensive discontinued one that we're gonna talk about here today, but it still is more than it used to be, which is how it always goes, so no surprise. Next fragrance, number 2 of the best Versace fragrances according to Fragrantica, with a 4.3 out of 5, is Versace Pour Homme. This one's just kind of a stalwart, just a go-to, easy to wear fragrance. Really hard to find stuff to dislike about this. Super clean, done by Alberto Marias, has a similarity to Chanel Allure Homme Sport. You have neroli and citrus in the opening, gives it this uplifting, out of the shower kind of scent profile. You have some additional florals, you have tonka, you have woodiness, you have musk. So you have this great balancing of very fresh and then lightly woody and sweet all put together. Great office fragrance, one of the best for me. I would just grab this stuff and spray it on heavily and go into the office. Always worked well. This is an awesome office fragrance, daytime fragrance, spring, summertime scent. It's got a touch of class to it. It's so easy to wear. The versatility is through the roof. The compliment factor is there, and it doesn't cost much from discounters. Versace Pour Homme, it makes sense to have such a high rating. Okay, now the next fragrance is, as of right now, the number 1 Versace fragrance, according to Fragrantica, of fragrances that are not discontinued. But there are 2 fragrances that rank higher than this if you include discontinued ones, so I'll quickly mention those. First of those is Metal Jeans Man. Quite a name, Metal Jeans. So you're probably aware of Blue Jeans for men. That one's still around, still easy to find, not very expensive. But there was a whole lineup of jeans fragrances, both for women and for men. And the one that is in the most demand, that's gonna run you the most money, is Metal Jeans. So how much money? Like, how much could a Versace jeans fragrance realistically run you? Well, on eBay, around $400 and up. So if you really want Metal Jeans, you're gonna have to pay for Metal Jeans. Does have watermelon in there in the top, along with citrus, aquatic notes, and gaiac wood. So yeah, Metal Jeans. But that's not the number 1. No, the number 1 is Versace Jeans Couture Man. Yes, another jeans fragrance, but this one in a different bottle style. And this one is also very expensive on eBay, but not quite as expensive as Metal Jeans. So with this one, you can pick up bottles sometimes around $200 to $250, something around there. So it's a steal. It's a relative steal. This one has myrtle, it has cardamom, it has citrus, violet, musk, and sandalwood, some of the notes in the fragrance. This one I do not own. Actually, back in the day, years ago, I've had many opportunities to pick it up. I just never pulled the trigger, and now I'm not sure exactly if I want to, but it is the number 1 rated Versace fragrance according to Fragrantica. All right, back to the real world, back to fragrances that are not discontinued. The number 1 is Versace Eros Eau de Parfum. This one has a score 4.31 out of 5. So it is so close to being overtaken by Versace Pour Homme, but it's just barely holding out. I've said this before, but Eros Eau de Parfum for most people is probably going to be the best one as far as the Eros line goes. If you want just one fragrance, I'd say this one is going to be your best bet. It's the Goldilocks fragrance. It's not quite as sweet and aggressive and bold as the Eau de Toilette, but it's also not quite as mature as the Parfum. So you're getting a little bit of each. You're getting the best of both worlds here. Really good performance. It has that mint, it has that apple that you've come to expect from the Eros lineup. It's got vanilla in there as the fragrance dries down. So it really pushes that sweetness, but like I said, not quite as youthful as the EDT. It's a really good fragrance, and as of right now, the number 1 best Versace. Kind of interesting to see Eros Eau de Toilette, which is the best-selling Eros fragrance as of right now, not in the top 5, but then 2 flankers, the Parfum and the Eau de Parfum, make it. And also, of course, I'm a little bit sad that the Dreamer, it's not in the top 5. It's just outside the top 5. And Blue Jeans actually was right toward the bottom. Only 2 fragrances did worse than Blue Jeans, Baby Blue Jeans and green jeans. So interestingly, with Versace, you have on one side of the spectrum, the very bottom, some jeans fragrances, and then at the very, very tippy top, also very expensive, some jeans fragrances. So Versace is jeans, and then other stuff in between, mainly Eros. So there we go, guys, the top 5 best Versace fragrances according to Fragrantica. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Links in the description for all these fragrances here today. Thank you for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. See you again another day with another video. See you later.